Alright, so I just landed in Riga. Bit of a rough start today. I ordered a large coffee at McDonald's for €1 and then I dropped it right before I even had a sip. So naturally I fell asleep on the bus. But then the lady beside me just I think it was her alarm or someone kept calling her and she didn't know how to turn off her ringer, so it just kept waking me up like every 20 minutes or something like that. I'm hungry, but I'm heading in towards a staple here in Latvia, which is called Lido. They have a bunch of them everywhere. But apparently it's actually really good food, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna have a huge, hearty meal, and yeah, the rest is history. It's now time to move forward. Alright, so I finally got my meal here at the Lido location, which is just in the city center. I got tons of food in front of me, hopefully it tastes good. It's kind of like a cafeteria style where you kind of just put whatever you want on your plate and then you pay for it. And all of this costs about €12, which I think is not too bad at all. Hopefully I get some good value out of this. Yeah, time to enjoy. So the first thing you should know about Latvia is that it was ruled by many foreign powers many years ago. So starting from the Swedes all the way to the Soviets a couple times and even the German Nazis. And it wasn't until 1991 that they became fully independent. And it wasn't until 2004 that they joined the EU, which is great because if I ever need to use cash, I can just use my euros. Another fun fact is that Latvia births the tallest women in the world, which happens to be very fitting since one of their major sports happens to be basketball. The first non-American woman inducted to the the Basketball Hall of Fame was named Uljana Semjonova, I think is her name? Uljana Semjonova, who stood 7 feet tall and wore size 21 US men's shoes, which is crazy. So Porzingis, if you want to be inducted to the Hall of Fame, you got to step your game up. Luka's injured. This is your time to shine, brother. So step up. Yes, the Bremer musician statue. I was in Bremen a couple weeks ago and this is pretty much the highlight of that city. I'm not sure why it's here in Riga, but here it is. I think it's good luck to rub the nose. So let's see if that did anything. So just like Tallinn, Riga is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means the old town here is well preserved. Pretty dead. I thought the Christmas market would be here, but I guess it's not. Right behind me is the Blackhead building, which is really unique. I've never seen a building like it, actually. It's kind of nice having this Christmas tree right in front of it as well. Keeps it clean and proper. Alright, so I decided to go with the hot balsam this time instead of the mulled wine because I've had way too many of those already. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a local liqueur. It's a bit stronger than mulled wine, so hopefully it tastes decent. Cheers! So before I call it a night, I'm going to check out this Trumpeta craft beer tap room, which was not only recommended by this barista that I met at one of the cafes, but also a Latvian colleague of mine sent me a story from a Riga Instagram account highlighting some events such as this live jazz performance. So I'm gonna get a bit of my comfort zone. I've never been to a bar by myself, but I'll be there for the music. I'm kind of hungry, I need a bite. Wanted her to grab a beer or so, but we'll see how it goes.
the next day.
Good morning, everyone. So last night's bar was pretty nice. It was a chill atmosphere. Live music was great. However, it was at capacity in the room right in front of the stage, so I didn't actually get to see the performance. I just heard it, and I was just like sitting in a bar eating my little chicken wings by myself. But overall, all right. Didn't get the greatest sleep. Got a coffee in my hand to wake me up. I thought there was a free breakfast at this hostel because it advertised a free breakfast, but apparently there isn't one, so I gotta look for breakfast. It's all right. I paid only €5 a night, which is all right, but a little bit sketch, I gotta admit. So I'm gonna continue exploring the city, but this time instead of walking around like a chicken with my head cut off, I'm gonna join a free tour. Hopefully it's still there. They just said to meet at this church and see what happens from there. So hopefully get to meet some people, get to actually learn something legit about the city instead of just like do some research online. But yeah. So here's a fact to start your day. So you know those jeans that you're wearing? That was actually invented by a Latvian. He went by the name of Jacob Davis, which was his English name. 2 years later, he moved to the States, and with the help of Levi Strauss, they patented what is now known as Levi's jeans, and there you go. Good old Latvian invention. To skip the cold for a little bit, settle down, do a little bit of work. And so if you're ever in Riga, I'm not sure if it's a Latvian chain, but I would recommend stopping by Caffeine. The establishment's purpose is not in any explanation. Fittingly enough, I got this peppermint mocha, fitting for the holiday season. So this building behind me happens to be the largest open market in Europe, and it's situated here in Riga, Latvia, so it's time to check it out, see what they have. It'll probably take me a while, but I don't expect to buy too much, so I'll just show you a quick walkthrough of this market. So before I end this video, I want to end with a few facts that I learned from this tour. I learned a lot about the Latvian history, and subsequently I learned a lot about the German history. So the Germans actually ruled Latvia, or what was known as the Latvian state, for 400 years. So a lot of the influence comes from the Germans. For example, they brought they kind of removed the Latvians from the paganism traditions and introduced more Christian traditions. So a lot of the churches here are actually mostly Protestant, but you will find some Catholic churches and Russian Orthodox churches as well. So another thing that I learned from the tour guide was apparently the Christmas tree tradition originated here in Riga, but it was the Germans who first raised it to celebrate Christmas. I don't know if that's true. I'll just take the tour guide's word for it. Another thing is the House of the Blackheads, the famous building that you've seen earlier, actually was influenced by German architecture. It was built by the Germans, destroyed by the Germans, and I believe it was restored by the Germans or maybe the Latvians in the 90s. So the buildings are rather new, but the original one actually was created in the 1300s, I believe. And finally, before I end this, I want to say a couple thoughts about the city itself. I love the beautiful architecture. I love the streets. I love the cafe culture. I didn't get to experience a lot of bars, nightlife, but the bar that I went to, the Trumpet Tap Room, was super chill, had a cool vibe to it. And there's a lot to explore here. So this is the biggest of the Baltic State cities. So there's a lot to do. I didn't get to do all the things that I wanted to. I'm gonna head over to the art museum to see if it's worth checking out. But if I don't go through it, this is pretty much the end of the video. So tomorrow morning, I'm gonna take a bus to Vilnius to take on the third part of my Baltic tour here. So stay tuned to catch the rest of that. Peace.